All right, guys, my name is Tanner Litchfield. I am a real estate investor and agent here in Utah. I have closed over $50 million worth of real estate and I own 13 rentals right now in my portfolio. But the cool thing is I've been trying to get into some bigger deal. Historically, I've done like 4 units and below, usually even like 2 units and below. And I'm trying to put on my big boy pants and do some bigger deals. And today's video, I'm gonna be talking about one of the bigger deals that I've done. And it's a 10-plex that I just purchased. I closed on this a week ago and I am just going to do a quick flip on this one and I'm going to review all the numbers for you. So make sure you stick with me. I'm going to talk about different scenarios. I could make 400 grand on this. I could lose money still. Who knows? I'm going to talk about all the scenarios. It's a fun one. But to start off, I am sitting here in one of the buildings in this 10-plex. Now, I'll tell you, I bought this deal from a tired landlord. They were done dealing with it. They didn't want to be a landlord anymore. So I bought a 10-unit portfolio that encompasses 1 sixplex and then 2 duplexes. So 3 different buildings for a total of 10 units. This sixplex is the biggest question mark in the whole deal because it's harder to pull values on. This used to be a single family home and it was converted decades and decades ago into 6 units, completely legal, separated utilities. But I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like. What I like about this deal, guys, this is 0.9, so less than a mile away from BYU, which is an awesome university here in Utah, and it attracts super solid tenants. So because of that, investors love it. And right now, this last was rented for $69.80, so $6,980 total. And that was before they remodeled this unit at all. So this is the only 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom in the whole sixplex. The rest of them are 1 bed, 1 bath. So you can see when we call this a wholetail, which means it's just a quick flip, we are doing very minimal. So we're not rehabbing it necessarily, but there's little things that we got to deal with, right? Like put the kitchen back together, get it cleaned up, do some little things. You can see in here the shower curtain is falling off. You can see like the bathroom, we got to put some different stuff together, but the rest of it, it's pretty clean, right? Like there's not a lot of remodel that we got to do to this one. So our plan here, we bought this for $1,461,000. After negotiations, that's where we landed. That's for all 10 units. So $146,000 a unit, which is really good here in Utah. My realistic number, I'm thinking I will exit around 1.95 for all 10 units. So that leaves close to 500K of spread. After all fees, I think we'll end up around 350 grand in profit, but who knows, right? Like there's a lot of unknowns. There's old sewer in this area. There's a lot of unknowns here, right? So we'll walk through it. Like I said, so just to talk further numbers, where does that 1.95 come from? I like to be conservative with my numbers. And so I think that for the little duplexes that we have, I'm hoping we can get around like at least 525, worst case scenario after everything on both of those. And then on the sixplex that we're in now, I'm hoping I can get around 900, but I think I'm gonna list at a million and see what happens there. So with that being said, I have some high hopes, but it's only worth what the market will pay. So we'll see what the market will pay. So now let's go on to unit number 2. The rest of them we're not gonna walk through just because there's tenants in there and I don't want to bug them, but we are purposefully leaving both of these units open because we want it to be easy to show. So that's our intention there, and then we'll see you at unit 2. All right, guys, obviously BYU is less than a mile from here, but mountains, this is normal in Utah, but being from Seattle, it's still super cool to me that the mountain ranges are just right there in your face. Part of this wholetail deal, we're gonna clean up some of this fascia you see up here. We just wanna make it look a little bit more presentable. And then the cool part about this, when you're close to a campus like this, parking is usually such a pain. There's plenty of parking here in the back, which is a huge value add to this deal. So we don't have to stress about parking, but a huge part of the negotiations on this deal was it tested for meth originally. And that's obviously not ideal when you are trying to buy a property. And what that means, like if it tests positive for meth, you have to disclose it, of course, but beyond that, it actually gets reported to the state, the health department. So you can smell in here, it's super strong. This isn't from the meth, Skylar said don't stress it. This is from the decontamination that already happened. That super strong smell is what they did to clean this place out, to decontaminate it from the mess. So now it's passed. The health department was notified, so it's above board. We got to put these appliances back together. This is probably one of the more like Mickey Mouse layouts of this whole sixplex, but you can see they had to rip out the carpet. They had to rip out the pad of this as part of the decontamination process. So we got to get this clean, make sure the smell isn't so bad, put new carpets, we'll wash all the walls, etc. And then button some of these things up. Like right there, you can see the vent. That's what this Wholetail thing is all about. You just make it really, try and button it up the best of our ability, but don't put too much thought into it. So this is the second unit that we are dabbling on. The seller that we bought this from was so done with his property that they wanted us to give them a number even before we did the full meth test. We knew that the whole building tested positive for meth, but that doesn't mean that every single unit is positive for meth, right? So our next step then is to do individual tests on each unit, and after we did that, only one of them tested positive for meth, which was unit 2. So they wanted us to present a number, and I told them like, this is going to be aggressive, so apologies, but we found a middle ground and it was a gamble. If all 6 of the units were positive for meth, then I would have got the bad end of the stick, but if only one of the units was positive for meth, then I would be much better off. And luckily for myself, that's what happened. Only one of them tested positive for meth, so we got a good negotiation on that. That's part of why we got a good deal on this. And yeah, so now we're just putting it back together. It'll probably cost, like, my guess would be like 8 grand total to get this thing buttoned up, which is a lot for a tiny unit like this, but it's definitely worth it for the deal and what we negotiated on that. So that's the sixplex, guys. I'm gonna make another video about this deal because one of them is live that we already went to in a previous video, 595, and so we'll see where that one exits at. 363 is another duplex that should be live here in a week, and then this one should also be live here in a week. So in the next few months, we should know the outcome of this deal. I'm excited to keep you guys posted on it. On the outcome, I will show you a detailed breakdown of all the numbers. One last tidbit on this one. So I did a creative structure. I found a money partner, and so how I structured it, I'm still getting a BAC, which is a buyer's agent commission, and on that purchase price, it came out to be around 50 grand. So I'm going to take my commission for finding the deal. Then after that, we are 50-50 partners on profit that we make. So if I don't make 50 grand on the deal, then I obviously won't take profit. So I need to get him past that 50 grand first, but then after we split it. And so we'll see, I'll break down all the nitty gritty details on holding costs, expenses, rehab numbers, agent commissions at the end of it. So you can see a dialed breakdown of this, and hit that subscribe, hit that follow, and we'll see you on the next one.